Hey.
Michael, you're cutting me out of the shot again.
How's it going, everyone?
Welcome to PTZOptics Live. We are here talking about the brand new Studio Pro, which is now shipping. This is a live streaming video content creation
We have an
camera
echo.
that
People
we
are
are
saying we
really
have an echo.
excited about. And it has everything you need to get started for live streaming, video conferencing, and super high quality video meetings. So it works great with Zoom, video conferencing. We've got a great show. There's so much great stuff to this, but I want to start with the first three main use cases for this camera. The first one being live streaming.
Like we're doing right now.
So we are live streaming with this baby. We're using vmix here in our studio, but I know a lot of folks like to use OBS. They like to use different streaming software. So one of the easiest ways to get this camera into your software is with USB, actually. So I've actually got OBS, which is the world's most popular live streaming software, loaded up here. And I just wanted to show how easy it is to add it to OBS. Now, you could be using Wirecast, you could be using vmix. The list kind of goes on and on. You can add this camera in as an NDI source, or you can add it in as a video capture device. And I'm just going to type in Studio Pro here and show you. It's so easy. It's going to come in at up to 1080p at 60 frames per second here. And it just comes up as Studio Pro. Now, I'm kind of messing myself up here because I already have it in Zoom as
It's
well.
not going to let you do both.
So I can't do both. I just realized that. But we can also add it as an NDI source as well on the network. And I've actually got 3 Studio Pros on my network. So from a live streaming perspective, that is kind of an important thing to think about. Here's that source test that you were just a moment at the intro of this. And if you're doing multicam production, that's where NDI really comes into play. You can do multi-live streaming camera with multiple different NDI cameras here. Lindsay, this is your camera.
Hey.
I'm just giving a little preview here by accident. This is the 9x16 vertical video Studio Pro here, which we're going to look at in a moment. And then I'll add the third NDI camera. You can see just with a couple clicks here, I'm getting a multi-camera Studio Pro setup here. There's my camera. And so just to give you an idea for live streaming and video production, this camera can be brought in via USB. It can be used with NDI, and it can also be used with HDMI. So if you have like an ATEM mini or a hardware video switcher, which is great to have, by the way, a lot of people realize that using a whole bunch of USB webcams for their multicam production doesn't quite work as well as they thought it would. They end up getting an entry-level Blackmagic ATEM Mini because you can process multiple HDMI videos in a single switcher and then just have a single USB output to their computer. Very popular. I hear it from the B&H salespeople all the time. So multiple ways to do live streaming with this camera. And one of the reasons why it's so great for live streaming is it has a 12x optical zoom lens. So you can get a really wide angle shot, as you can see in this shot here. I'm pretty close. I'm like arm's reach from this shot here. And it gets a nice wide angle. And it's got a time of flight focus sensor. So you'll see here, it'll actually focus directly in on the thing that's closest to the screen. So it does a really good job with that. And it has 12x optical zoom. So you can zoom this camera in from up to 25 feet away, which is about 7.6 meters, and capture a head and shoulders shot of some. Actually, Lindsay, what just to support me here, can you just do a quick zoom in and out?
Yeah.
And just to give these guys a quick example here. This camera is about 10 feet away from Lindsay. So just to give you an idea, that's real optical zoom, which from a live streaming perspective, you don't have to go all the way in.
How close can we get?
Is that as far as it goes?
Yeah.
Now that's all optical zoom, so it's lossless optical zoom. There is no, that is not digital zoom. The camera has 16x digital zoom if you want to use it that way. But thank you for that, Lindsay. And then, so that's the, like, I think high level of the live streaming case studies, right?
Yeah, I think that covers it for live streaming. And we kind of got into the content creation side of things, showing the portrait mode.
Yeah, so let's talk about this camera for content creators.
Okay.
So content creators are creating videos. They are live streaming often, so that's why this camera is so great. But let's focus on just the creating of the videos side of the world.
Okay. So you're saying taking a video from the stream, like capturing the video.
Or
But
even
you don't need
recording.
Yeah, like you don't need the capture card. That part of the conversation that we had?
Yeah. So
Okay,
so
okay.
essentially, you can record short videos, long videos. You can record them in 16 by 9, but as we were showing with your video a moment there, Lindsay, you can also record in 9 by 16. And I think as a modern content creator,
Yeah.
whether you're recording, just to an HDMI recorder, in fact, the fact that it has HDMI, we were talking about earlier, you can plug HDMI into a big monitor so people can see what they're recording, especially if you're doing a TikTok dance or something.
Yeah, and there's like multiple people dancing and you want to be able to see yourself on a screen or like a confidence monitor, or it'll act as your, a mirror, because normally in dance studios you have a mirror. Yeah, I thought that was a really good idea to plug it into a monitor, and then you could see your actual portrait mode of yourself.
Yep.
For your TikToks or Reels or whatever you're using your portrait videos for.
Instead of a tiny little phone screen.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And there's so much flexibility with this camera. I think as a content creator, you can really grow with a camera like this because it's like, okay, well, I'll just use USB in the beginning. I just want to plug it into my computer and record videos with OBS. But then you might say, this NDI thing is kind of interesting. How does that work? Does that give me more flexibility when I start using OBS or vmix and I start growing and learning how to do more live streaming? And then the HDMI, I think, will come into play, whether it's, as we said, about the large monitor, or maybe they decide to get an 810 mini or a video switcher, because I think a lot of content creators are learning that it's actually a really great way to capture content is to just do everything live, just like we are. And we're recording this whole, Mike, make sure you're recording. We're recording this whole live stream, and at the end of the live stream, we'll turn that into like 10 videos. So I think a lot of, Joe Rogan does that. I mean, I feel like everybody is doing that now, right?
Yeah. Most podcasters are doing it. Yeah.
Because it's just such an effective use of your time. It's like, okay, have a conversation about something for an hour, take the gems and the nuggets and the post-production and turn that into multiple pieces of content.
It's a good way to attract people to watch more of your content, to want to take in the full piece, just getting that little nugget, as you said, from some of those like key points.
And the 9 by 16 content, right? The vertical video content is becoming more popular. And to have, even if you're, I've seen actually people say, all right, well, we're going to set up one set of cameras for the normal 16 by 9 live stream, but then set up a couple cameras separately for the 9 by 16. And so they've got that content, like really high quality, perfect 9 by 16 content, kind of like what we were seeing with what you just zoomed in on. Like imagine you really do have a nice podcast and you literally just set up a second system for really good 9 by 16 video.
I was just thinking it's a good enough price for you to have one set up in vertical and then one of them set up in portrait.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about cutting the video itself that you took with your DSLR that probably is overheating if you're using that. We're trolling DSLRs today. Welcome to the show.
So this will be a fun show. We're going to open the box in a minute, but there is one other big use case, which is video conferencing. I think for most people doing video conferencing, we're definitely talking about a USB to the computer. Couldn't be easier. But the big thing that we thought about when we designed this camera was, hey, what's the biggest problem? No matter what camera you have, it's lighting. And most people aren't like, for a regular video conference call, you're not going to have a 3 light system.
No.
And what I think a lot of people are going to find out is, over the past few years, we were getting by with whatever we could get. And people are sick and tired of their webcams. They don't look good. They're too wide.
The standard has definitely been been raised
Mhm.
for how you should appear on your video calls. And if you want to be professional and taken seriously, the quality of your video is definitely something to take into consideration.
Mhm.
Yeah, and think about how many people today, this number has skyrocketed over the past couple of years, make a living online.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, and I'm talking about like doctors who do telemedicine,
Mhm.
lawyers who are doing consulting. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of people who, and guess what? Those people use their camera because they want to
Mhm.
make a good impression with their
Yeah.
paying clients. I mean, these are paid therapists. I mean, the
yeah.
list goes on and on. You know, people literally like just famous people who are joining, you know, online. They don't have to leave their home. I'm sure, you know, they can just join this conference remotely. But are they going to get hired again if their webcam looks horrible and they couldn't really see
Right.
them?
Mhm.
So at this price point, I think a lot of people are saying, you know, I want to look good. And it, for lack of real broadcast lighting to have, and I have actually, Mike, if you want to show this shot of this, I don't know if we have this shot here, but the light included with this camera is pretty good.
Yeah.
It has two different color modes. So it goes from 3000 Kelvin, which is a very warm light, to 6000 Kelvin, which is a very cool
Mhm.
light. And so the warm light makes you're kind of feel a little bit more glowy.
Mhm.
If
It's like
is that
sunset.
Little
word?
It's a
bronzed.
little sunset glow.
Oh, thank you. Here, Mike's got it here. So there's a little battery indication light on the back, because you can turn it off and on. It does have a little battery. But on the top right here, you can kind of change the color temperature and the brightness. And for lack of an expensive lighting system, this is included with the
Mhm.
camera. Our engineers were like, you know what? This is a good way to ensure that the optical glass in this, the actual real glass that's going to be such a higher step up from a regular webcam, will really accent the quality if it has a good light with it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that's the video conferencing side of things. I will say, if you are using NDI, which, you know, your normal video conference users probably not, but if you do want to use NDI, NDI Tools does include a NDI to USB virtual webcam tool, so you can bring in your NDI video feed to any video conferencing software. All right, cool. So now we can go to what's in the box.
Let's do it.
This would be a fun segment where Tess gets to, I guess I could just say, gets to go up to the box and open it.
We should drag him behind you there.
Is your mic on, Tess? Because I think your mic is off. Oh, okay. So this is a PTZOptics Move 4K camera, streaming in 4K, shooting the video here of a PTZOptics Studio Pro camera that we're going to open up here on the stream. And we were going to zoom this camera out as Tess does the unboxing so that you guys can see everything.
To the Tighter Live 5 Present from New Blue. So that's really exciting that you can get that to use with your camera. And also we have the quick start guide included when you open the box. Okay. When you receive your Studio Pros, we have just recently moved to sustainable packaging. So remember to recycle all of the pieces of the package. Here we have our USB cable, our included USB cable.
It's pretty long. I think I'm going to guess 12 feet.
You want me to take it
No,
out,
you don't
or-
have to. I noticed that it was very long.
These things here, this was a little bit of a surprise. This clamp mount is for the light. So you could take the light off of the camera and clamp it onto your monitor, either higher up
Nice.
or next to the camera if you want to adjust that. This is a little surprise.
So that way, if you're using the hot shoe for like
for a
Rode
microphone. Yeah, you could still use the light with the clamp. Or if you want to put a microphone on there too, why not? That was something I just noticed when I opened the camera that we have. Okay, this here, is this for the panel light?
Yes.
So a little quarter 20
That
thread.
raises it up a little and gives you some more flexibility on
You
where
could
the
also
light's
tilt it
mounted.
down, which
Yeah.
I find is helpful if the camera is mounted above me. I might want the light tilted downwards towards me. I'm just getting it set up in my own office. I'm excited to use it for video conferencing. Other side?
We're getting directions from Mike.
Yeah, but I
our-
liked being able to see what I
our
was doing.
director.
Here we have the included power supply.
Oh, that's why. I
And
can
here's
see what
the
it is.
international power supply options. And here's the remote that it comes with. And we're going to show you that you can actually set presets with this camera, believe it or not, and have different zoom levels. So that's something that's really cool that you're going to see. We'll send that soon. And you can do fast zoom and slow zoom. And this is to charge the light. So this is what's going to charge the panel light for you. It comes with batteries for the remote. Yeah, we don't cheap out on you and not send batteries. We send batteries. And then let's finally get into
Now
the camera.
that's the new sustainable packaging, by the way, Tess. That used to be styrofoam.
Okay, that's true. This is the new sustainable packaging that we have. You can recycle this. It used to be styrofoam, and now
Mhm.
we're, moving eco-friendly,
Much
trying to
better for the
do our
environment.
part. It's much better for the environment.
You could give it to your rabbit or
Here's the
hamster
panel
to
light.
chew on.
Little
Hamsters love that.
ASMR. Now we have to charge this, of course. Oh, wait, it comes with some charge in there, doesn't it? So you could see us adjust the brightness and then the temperature. Okay. And finally, the camera, which also has that new sustainable surrounding. And something else that's cool that I didn't know when I first opened this camera is it comes with a lens cap. So you can protect your camera lens
and
with the
privacy.
included lens cap. And if you're using it like a webcam, you've got that privacy feature. Here you can see the two microphones we have, the cold shoe, so you can mount your light or a microphone or any other accessory that you'd have. And then here are the outputs: HDMI, USB. We have NDI or IP. Here's your USB. And there we go.
Tilt it to the left, right?
What's
Tilt it
that?
To the right. You're kind of in the dark.
Okay. And
So-
here's the portrait. Somebody was asking about the portrait versus
Mhm.
landscape switch. So this is where you're going to toggle that.
Yeah, Mike has a better shot of the back we can look at
Yeah.
later.
All right. So
That's
is
awesome.
the opening.
Wow, Tess, I haven't seen you do an unboxing for a while.
It's been a while. I do them with Michael all the time, but they're pre-recorded.
a live unboxing. That was
Yeah.
fun. Okay, so the next thing on our list is the light itself, and honestly, I feel like we covered the light pretty well.
Yes, we did.
So I think we're good on the light. So next is actually all the different mounting options for this camera, which I actually have in a PowerPoint I kind of want to show, because this will be just like a quick wrap up, and we'll end with the mounts and clamps. By the way, all of the mounts that I'm about to show you are in the links in the description of the YouTube live stream. So if you've bought a Studio Pro and you're waiting for it, it should be shipping though. So they should be coming soon.
It is POE. We got that
It is
question.
PoE.
Yes.
And you're looking for a mount, just to kind of wrap up here. Okay, so it's got the USB, the HDMI, the RTSP, and RTMP. That's for streaming. The included remote, which Lindsay's going to show in a minute. We're going to look at the web UI in a moment as well. Portrait. There's the toggle switch there for switching
Oh, you
back
had a
and
picture of that in
forth.
there. That's
We've got the panel light that's included, the cold shoe we talked about. We didn't actually mention the 3.5 millimeter audio input. So the reason why you might want to do that, especially if you are using this camera to live stream directly to YouTube and Facebook, you want the audio embedded into the camera so that you get audio and video to YouTube or Facebook. HDMI, NDI, USB-C, RTMP. But then Lindsay was wondering, how do I mount these Studio Pro cameras? So first one being an over-the-head camera stand. And I like this one for over the head, but I also like it in certain situations where you've got a desk and you want to just clamp it to the end of a desk so that you can get it kind of like right in between your monitors.
And you can have it standing straight up as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be overhead with that mount.
In fact, yeah, so the picture I have here kind of shows it kind of like just adjustable so you can kind of move it around.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
This is my favorite.
This is your favorite one?
This is one I want. I think it's the easiest.
So this one is one of the easiest. It's a monitor top camera mount, and that we have that one right here. I have it in front of me. But this is a nice one. And again, all the links to these, just because there's so many different options for mounting it for different scenarios. We just wanted to give you guys all the links to these devices. So Tess, then maybe you could take this one then.
Okay.
Is that the one you want?
Yeah, that is the one I want.
This one can be for you.
Yay!
Everyone has to use a different mount.
Well, I don't have a VESA mount on the back of my monitor, so.
Well, that's a good point. And this one here does not cost $99. That's a typo. Sorry about that.
Maybe $19.
This one costs $19.99. Sorry.
$19.99.
Apologize for that there. That is I'm going to fix that before.
Paul's deleting the whole presentation because
Get rid of this presentation.
Get this out of here.
But I actually really like this one. So if your mount supports VESA, which ours does right here, this is how I have the camera set up now. You get all these options. You could have a whole tray of devices attached. Then we've got what we call the Panavice mounting option here. This would be if you want to put the camera on the wall. This is what a lot of like courtrooms will do. This is a good camera for a courtroom if you want to get like the video from like a jury stand.
Yeah.
Anything. So again, I think I mentioned this earlier, but if this camera can zoom into a subject up to 25 feet away, about almost 8 meters, and capture a head and shoulders. So if you go up to like 4 or 5 feet wide, you could do like 30 to 40 feet away. Now, if you want to be 75 feet away, maybe you should get the PTZOptics 30X. Right. So it's not like a 30X, but it's still a good amount. And that's the mounting options there for the PTZOptics Studio Pro.
Alex Hoover is asking, is there a tally light that can be put on it?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? That is exactly why on the side of the camera, there are 2 quarter 20s, because we know that the cold shoe itself is probably going to be used by something. And if you want to put a tally light on the side, you can actually go to tallylights.com and learn more about some tally lights that are available. But I know those ones there's a quarter 20 connection on the side of the camera, so you can just have it on the side like that.
But there's a tiny one, right?
Not on the Studio Pro.
Oh.
Yeah, I wondered that too, but I asked.
Then what's the little thing on it?
Are they microphones?
No, there is a
There's
teeny
a little
weeny
light.
light. There's a very, very small light. Let's see actually, because it should turn on.
It's true. It's not on this one. But I saw in the picture earlier it was on.
You sure it's not just an IR receiver?
Let me see if someone in our chat could add, because it looks like there's a teeny light there, but it could be the iris. But you saw it on.
Yeah, Matt, if you are in the chat,
We're gonna answer
know
that
what the
one.
light is.
Matt, if you're in the chat, we want to know that.
Or we could chat.
Spitting bars.
John or Jeffrey might
Yeah.
know too.
John, Jeffrey.
Oh, cool.
Jingleheimer
So the
Schmidt.
next thing on our list is logging into the the Studio Pro web interface. And I do think this is a pretty powerful, this is what makes this camera very much different than a DSLR, because of the powerful controls that you get over this camera through the web interface. So this is an IP connected camera. So all of the IP connections. So Mike, I should have this coming over to you in my PowerPoint, or I guess NDI screen capture. Here it is. So this camera has an IP address. So I've typed it in the top there. But with all brand new PTZOptics cameras, you can just type in ptzoptics.local / and you'll hit the camera. So you don't need to know the IP address anymore. The default password is admin, and that'll get you into the web interface, which will give you a live video preview of the camera, the ability to kind of like operate the video, and there's like a snap focus button. You can go in and out of the on-screen menu, but you can also control quite a bit of all of this right through the image settings for all of that as well. You can control all the audio and video streaming settings that are in here. Keep in mind, this does support NDI HX3. So we can do 1080p 50, 1080p 60 in H.264 and H.265. 2 video streams And then in the streaming settings area, this is where you can put in like your Facebook and YouTube streaming settings. And then there's a little button for turning those streams on and off. It also supports SRT, which is actually, hopefully for some of you guys that are watching or thinking about this, the SRT capabilities allow you to stream remotely. So it's really cool, actually. You could take a Studio Pro, type in your SRT information, and just ship the camera to somebody. As soon as they turn it on, SRT can stream directly back to you, which is ideal in some scenarios where it's like you want it to be so easy for the person that gets it. Just like plug this camera in and it'll work. Like, so that's what SRT does. There's multiple profiles for your camera. So you can have a camera that's like edgy and different. You could have a camera that has different lighting. You could have an outdoor setting, an indoor setting. So you can set up those profiles, download them, and apply them very quickly and easily. You can see we have a fixed IP address, but of course it supports DHCP. If you've gotten this far into the webinar, I might as well explain NTP settings, which is essentially the ability, it's called Network Time Protocol, and that allows you to synchronize all of your cameras to a single clocking system. So if you're doing a multicam production with other PTZOptics cameras or multiple Studio Pros, every frame of video will be stamped with that Network Time Protocol. And then there's the NDI settings here. This is what the camera will show up in. So earlier when you saw when I was in OBS and I opened up NDI, it was like Studio Pro 1, Studio Pro 2, Studio Pro 3. You can name them whatever you want. It could be like couch camera, director camera, whatever. You can name them whatever you want. In the device info here, that's where that happens. And then Lindsay, this one's for you. You see the IR remote control here?
Yes.
Your IR remote control is actually you're next, I think, because we haven't done your landscape thing yet. But
a landscape thing.
your remote control was controlling like all of the cameras, and so each IR remote control can control up to 4 cameras. And so I set all the other Studio Pros to 3. So we're just doing this one, which I think is a good segue to. Although I do need to show this one last thing. One-click firmware update. Oh no!
What did you do?
Your firmware is out of date.
What are we
We
gonna do?
need new firmware. So when you get your camera, it's possible that PTZOptics has updated the firmware. That means we've improved it in some way. We've added new features. We've made the product better. And all you need to do is click that button, click apply, and then you've downloaded the new firmware, and you just follow the instructions, and boom, you're up and running with an up-to-date version. And the thing is, when you buy a product from PTZOptics, we are continually devoted and dedicated to making these products better. So this camera has a 5-year warranty and lifetime support. So our support team is available from 8 in the morning till 6 at night, Eastern Standard Time. So basically coast to coast for the majority of hours. And we will support you. But not only that, our development team is continually making sometimes feature requests, most of the time from our customers. So as you guys ask for things, hey, can it do this? Can it do that? They'll say, well, it can, but we need to change the firmware a little bit. And then when we get it done, you click a button, you apply the firmware, and your camera is continually becoming more and more advanced and capable. So I'll leave it with that. And then Lindsay's going to show us this is a combination of the IR remote demo, the optical zoom capabilities, and the portrait mode all in one.
Yeah. I'm excited. Oh, hello. You're on this little slider. Hi. Okay.
All right. So this camera specifically has been set up in portrait mode. So that is obviously 9:16 instead of the traditional 16:9.
Okay. I have a few presets. Okay. I think we might be in.
And a preset is a saved position.
Maybe I am. Hello.
Do you have it on number 4 at the top?
I just clicked the cameras. So if there's cameras going wonky, it's
You
because
clicked the wrong button.
I don't know how to read a remote.
All right, so
okay.
we have that one
So
set to
I'm gonna
camera
make sure you
4,
switch
so
back to
that
number
same
4.
thing doesn't happen.
Okay, I'm
okay.
camera 4. Okay.
All right, so we've got a wide angle preset.
Okay. where you can
or a
stand
zoomed
up.
out preset, if you will. This would be good for like a TikTok dance video.
Yep. Or a podcast set.
Usually you put the coffee down for the dances, if that's okay.
I mean, not whenever you're sponsored.
Ah.
We're being sponsored.
Sponsor us, Starbucks.
Yeah. Brief intermission. To
Now, I'm
take a
sure
sip.
the sponsor would like you to zoom into the coffee.
Oh, you're right. Or into what I ordered today.
Boom.
I think I can.
And you can go in further. Look at how in focus it is for being 20 feet away. The focus is really, really good. And you can see how Lindsay is out of focus in the background, but the product in front. And that is a new focus technology called time of flight. And it does a really good job. I mean, the focus does not go out of focus.
No.
It's just, we're really proud of this camera.
I
It's
love
looking
it.
great. It has a Sony sensor.
Mhm.
So it's the new Sony CMOS sensor in there that looks, it's just really good.
I think it's oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I was gonna say that's why you don't have to use the Zoom beautifier, because you already look so good on the Studio Pro.
That's right.
Yeah. And that reminds me, we do actually have a Zoom call that people can join to see the camera in Zoom for those of you who might be
That's right.
interested. And I should go into my Zoom settings and just show this. There isn't a touch up my appearance button in there that you can use. Lindsay doesn't use it very often.
Nobody
but
Yeah.
can hear you in Zoom, though. You should.
a lot of people do. What?
Nobody can hear you, and you're muted in Zoom. So
Oh, in Zoom.
just letting you know.
Oh, I probably should unmute that then. Sorry. I thought it was muted for the whole stream, but I just
No.
unmuted myself in Zoom because we
Didn't mean
are
to scare
gonna.
you.
If anyone wants to come into Zoom, we shared a link,
I'm gonna share it right
and
now.
we're happy to like answer actual questions after the live stream here, because we actually are kind of wrapping up, but
Yeah.
there's maybe more still to talk about. I don't know.
Mm.
Answer questions, Q&A.
Yeah, let's make sure that we're connected to Zoom in case anybody wants to unmute themselves and chat, and give people a moment to hop into the Zoom call, and then we can go from there.
Okay, I see someone's asking for the price of the Studio Pro.
$769.
$769 is the MSRP. $699 is the minimum advertised price.
Wait, where's the Zoom?
I put it in the
Oh,
YouTube chat.
it's a code.
Great. So there's the Zoom is in the YouTube chat, and then all the links to all those mounts I put in the YouTube chat as well. So I'll put my headphones on because anyone who, if they want to unmute themselves or ask questions, we're happy to answer those. Good job to our producer Mike, who did a really good job. This one was this production required like a different type of setup.
It did. We use so many Studio Pros.
Can we play around with this one over here real quick? Just because he did so much work on this. I want to sit on that chair
Yeah, let's.
and just, I don't have a mic or anything, but actually, can I take yours?
Yeah.
Because it took him a while. And Mike, can you show the behind the scenes shot of that? Thank you. I just thought this came out so well. For what it is. And Mike, I think you have the camera on the camera. Okay, there we go. So that's kind of to give you an idea of.
Well, that's cool. It had the Studio Pro focus.
So that just shows you how far we are. Can you zoom it in and out, Mike? Are you bringing it in over NDI? Now that we've like successfully like completed the stream and everything went to, I'm like, all right, let's. And some of our audience, I think, likes it when we like make
I
these
think
things.
they do.
This is when I'm like, all right, Mike, you did everything right. Now I'm gonna like ask you to do a whole bunch of random stuff on the fly and see if I can make the stream die. But okay, so there you can see that's kind of zooming in. And also, this is the bokeh effect, right? So this is the subject in focus.
The audio is a little weird. Have them chit chat for you. It's just I get like real double audio going.
It's because we're on and he's on.
And it's also
yeah.
the mics are picking you up at the same time. I'm sorry.
So Paul is just switching focus by moving. See if you can move. See if you can get the background in focus. And there it is, zoomed all the way out. Thank you, Michael. And we're zooming in. How far in will that take us? That's it? Oh. Oh my goodness. That looks great. Yeah, we're really happy with this camera. Thanks, Paul. Coming on back.
All right.
I'm having technical difficulties getting into the
I assume it
Zoom.
works well with the SuperJoy controller.
Oh
Says
yes, yes. This
championship
camera
darts.
can be controlled by the SuperJoy.
Oh, are you
yes.
live streaming darts? Championship
Oh,
darts?
this would be good for championship darts.
This would be great for darts.
Now, a question that Lindsay brought up that I do think is important is that we do have Z cams, right? PTZOptics Z cams that can zoom in. That we have a 12x model and a 20x model. They are actually different from the Studio Pro.
I brought up the question, what sets these aside from the Z cams?
Yeah, so the Z cams are similar and different. So, thank you, Mike. This is a perfect
Ooh.
example. I'm glad you got
Here they
those.
come.
These two specifically are the perfect ones. Thank you. So here's two Z cams that are popular and our customers do use these, but I want to show the back, for example, to show the big difference. These cameras have SDI. And SDI for a very long time has been like kind of the standard for like broadcast and streaming. And so SDI can be run really long distances, much longer than HDMI. And some people really believe that this is the professional way to go because it has a locking connector. You can like lock it in. And they also have IP streaming and they have power over Ethernet. So they're really designed for like SDI for video, PoE, connectivity for management and control. We do have NDI versions of these as well. But what the Studio Pro has done, I'd say it's probably designed for like a wider market where it's like USB plug and play, HDMI for your video switchers, and only available in a 12x lens. So it's wide angle for close-ups, can zoom in, as we showed, 25 feet or so. But the Z cams are more specialized because this one is a super wide angle lens.
Yeah, it is.
And then there's also a 20x box camera. And I was just I was in New York looking at a court system and they were using 20x box cameras because 20x is almost double a 12x. It's a decent amount more zoom. So if you're looking to capture a dartboard from a camera like 50 feet away, 20x Z cam might be a better option than the 12x available on a Studio Pro.
And the sensor.
And
Is
that's a
different.
very good point. So
Yeah.
we used to use across all of our cameras a Panasonic CMOS sensor, and chip shortages and things are a real thing, and we have to deal with all of that. But we ended up with Sony CMOS sensors, and they really do have. I think the focus is better and
Look
faster.
how gorgeous this is. Sorry, whatever is in the Z cams, but I get so excited about the quality of this camera.
Well, I'm excited to see like what you think about it after going in all your Zoom calls, because I don't see why you wouldn't still touch up your appearance in the Zoom settings, but maybe it's so good that you don't need to.
I think because usually in my Zoom calls, I'm like roughing it anyways. Like most of my Zoom calls are from my couch because that was during the time of when we would take our meetings from all of our couches.
From the couches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Championship Darts is streaming darts.
Oh.
And VAPS says, is there a way to loop the camera, meaning pan tilt on the controls?
There's no pan. I mean, yeah. No pan or tilt.
There's no pan or tilt. The way that could potentially be accomplished is via electronic pan tilt zoom, which is doable very easily in vmix actually. But when you're doing that, you probably want to have a 4K camera, to be completely honest. And one of my
Move
favorite
4K?
cameras would be the Move 4K, which combines both, which does have that capability. But also the HuddleCam HD Pro is a
That's
4K
true.
camera that starts at $299. That's more in this ballpark. That was actually designed around that principle. But as Lindsay said, I think it was during the podcast potentially, and Martin Sinclair, I've heard say this many times. You can zoom in digitally and it's okay, but why not use a real optical zoom if you really, really want the quality to be good?
Mhm.
And
So,
that is from Dorian. Hi, Dorian.
okay, I thought
Not
that-
our Dorian.
Oh, because we have a Dorian on our engineering team.
I was like, wait.
Because we still are trying to figure out about this light on the front, right? If it's a tally light or not. I have this,
I guess it's not
feeling
because
that
it's
it's
not on
not.
right now.
and it's so small.
Yeah.
And it would be on right now.
Wait,
They
let's
would
see
have
if it-
told us that.
Oh.
You got both of them?
Double zoom.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
I'll just put it down.
I'll put that down.
Put it right there. No, I don't know what I guess it's just a sensor, and then on the picture that I saw, it looked like it was on. So I don't know.
Well, if anyone wants to join the Zoom call, we're happy to stay and answer questions. But otherwise, I really do think we did a great job. I even threw a curveball at Mike, which I like to do
Yeah, you always got to throw in
whenever.
one or two curveballs.
We've been doing this long enough, Tess. I mean, we've been live streaming. I was joking that we were live streaming 3 times a week
But it was true. We were.
in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then we took a break for a couple years.
For COVID. and
But
then-
honestly, that's how Mike learned.
yeah.
It was like streaming like crazy, and every single time I'd be like, "Can you add one more camera? Can you make it do this? Can you do this?" And I felt okay challenging him like that because I used to be the guy behind vmix,
Right.
and I knew kind of what it was capable of. And so I wasn't being like, "Can you do something that is crazy impossible?" I would ask him something like, "Hey, can you do that? Because I know it can be done. I just wondering if you can do it, because that's how you get better. Slowly, you try a little harder, try something you've never done before, look at it a different way." And now Mike's at the point where he's surprising me, and I'm like, oh, you're doing what? Like that one shot with this shot's really good, the 3-box. But I really liked what Mike was doing with Lindsay on the side and 9x16.
Yeah.
Because like you've got vertical video, but you're putting it in a widescreen format. Like, how
Mhm.
do you do that? What are you going to do? It's challenging.
I gotta jump
Like
in here.
what we do is not a normal live stream, and I don't know if viewers appreciate that always or not. But like we are constantly, every show is like a different setup.
What makes a normal live stream?
Like here's what I'll say.
Proper
Honestly, like television,
behavior.
like
yeah.
like like Good Morning America or something.
Oh,
It's like they've got it down to a science. It's the same cameras
Yeah.
every day, Monday through Friday. Like it's the same thing. It's like, all right, commercial break. You know what I mean? Like, all right, introduce them, talk for a little bit. There's a person in their ear. Do it like this, and then boom, you're done.
we could have sponsor breaks if anybody wants to sponsor us.
Well, Tess and I were live.
don't know if
We
that's
were
allowed.
invited to live stream the official NAB show live stream,
Oh,
and it was really interesting because they did commercial breaks.
oh, that's right.
And Tess and I, they'd be like, commercial break, and we'd be like, oh, we can stop streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That was nice. That was definitely nice.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But I think both of us were like, well, a real Twitch streamer would go the whole
The whole
time
time.
and wouldn't even
they take you
break a
into the
sweat.
bathroom breaks. I
Yeah.
mean,
Like my viewers like to see me stream my bathroom breaks. I'm just kidding.
I actually was watching a YouTube video today where this vlogger, like, she literally like vlogged in the bathroom, and I was like, That's-
okay.
that's new and different and real. Okay.
No,
Word-
honestly, the younger you are, the more you're like, please break. This is my impression because I remember being young myself, and it's like, please break the rules a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like,
There are no
please do
rules.
it differently. And time again, it was like reality TV was like an early time where it's like, wait, the cameras are off the tripods. They're following people around. Like before that, it was just like cameras on tripods and just like cutting between them. So well, it is what it is. It's good. One thing I'll say, if you're trying to spice up your live streams, just take a phone, put the NDI Studio monitor on there, NDI camera app
Camcorder.
on your iOS or Android, and suddenly you've got a wireless camera if you start using NDI. So there's a
That's
lot of cool things you can do to add some movement. You know, we put a camera on a slider over here. You can give someone a PTZ camera joystick so they can actually operate the cameras and move them around a little bit. Add some, you know, use some presets as Lindsay was showing, where the camera sweeps from one side to the other side. And, you know, yes, we do sell cameras. So like, this is like, you know, kind of like it's like, hey, put more cameras in, but, you know, adding more camera angles and making those cameras actually move. And you know, it is true that people's attention spans are short.
Yeah.
And video quality is getting better and better and better. So a one camera static shot can be kind of hard to watch for like an hour.
It can be, certainly.
Yeah. Unless if you're just putting it on in the background while you're at work, like me.
Yeah. I mean, every rule can be broken. It's like, you know, Matt Davis loves to watch like rain.
Yeah.
In like Tokyo. And it's just
He
like.
does.
Yeah. I always have
background.
like little YouTube videos playing in the background.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Well,
Well,
I think
I think we did it.
Okay, we will see you at the end of July. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. That's how we can continue creating content like this. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you
Bye.
next month.
See you next month. Happy
See you in
4th.
July.